Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 238. It is 2022. I am Zachy Hassan. He is Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
Hey, are you on the other side of the Rona?
I believe so. I think so.
Fingers crossed, fingers and toes crossed.
Yeah, it's. I still have a little bit of a cough, but my body feels better, and I feel more up tempo than I did last time we recorded. So yeah, thankful for that.
Well, I have to say it's been very nice. The outpouring of supportive messages we got for you. When people heard what you were going through.
I wanted to bring that up, and you know what was really sweet too was so many people also, referenced Federica, and we're just like, hope you and Federica are doing all right, and I showed every single message to her, and we were both really. I mean, it was the thing that's so weird about it is, when you get a cold, I try not to go to work if I'm like really sick and whatnot, but like you might go to the store to go pick up your medication or do whatever, but like with this, it's like you sort of live in a box,
yeah.
for like a week and a half where you just, everything is delivered to you. You don't see anyone and you feel really, really isolated from the world, and having those messages come in were just incredibly touching. And so I tried to reply to every single one, and we were really, really appreciative and touched and thankful to receive them. So thank you very much.
Well, glad to have you back. Speaking from a purely selfish perspective, I have waited patiently to discuss Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Dude, I actually. So when Federica and I tested negative, it took a while. We tested one day and we thought we were better, and it was still positive. We're like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, because we were like going to go see Spider-Man, and then finally when we tested negative, we're like, yippee! And it was like, the cartoon cloud of our figures, appeared, and we were gone, and we ran over, and finally got to see it. But yeah, it was weird being so behind on this, right? Like, it's funny, and I feel bad for you and for listeners that. This is something that happened probably what feels like a month ago, but I'm still like living in it. Like, wow, Spider-Man was great.
Well, when you think about it, it's kind of like how it used to be in the day, where
Right.
You could talk about a movie a month later and it was still current, like it was part of the conversation.
I will never forget the best example I can think of this was in 1999. I was working at a restaurant, and one of the servers couldn't believe I hadn't seen The Sixth Sense. And I don't know if I was even on movie blogs. I probably was like, oh yeah, I heard that was okay. I'll check it out sometime. And she's like, no, we're going after work. So we go, and then it has that crazy twist at the end. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, this movie's amazing. And I'm like, in what universe would I not know that 3 weeks after its release? That that it has a huge twist, that people like it, that whatever. Like, that's just impossible. That experience, that could never happen again.
Yeah. I do miss it, I have to say.
Yeah. But it was, we'll get more into specifics, obviously. But it was kind of weird because I've heard so many people say it was nice engaging with an audience again and having people cheer or gasp, and it was something they had missed for the past 2 years. And I gotta say, I mean, spoiler, we loved it, but like our audience, because it's been a couple weeks out, I mean, it could have been a multiple viewing experience for them.
I'm certain of that. Yeah.
And it was funny because she and I were like, oh, like we were the only ones making noise in the theater. And like, there's like a special appearance by someone in like the beginning, and Federica gasped, but she was the only one, like it was, I was like, oh wow, okay, have you guys all seen this, I guess? Like, but no, it was I'm just glad we're finally able to have this conversation.
Well, and in the lead up to watching the new Spider-Man, you ended up diving into the back catalog.
Yeah, and I've always liked the Spider-Man movies, but I've never been like passionate about them. Like I don't go back and rewatch them a lot. I just am like, oh yeah, those are good. That's kind of my thought on them. Or if they're on TV, I'll kind of stop a little bit. But just in, building up to this, we're like, let's watch all the Spider-Man movies. And what else are we gonna do? We were stuck in the house, And so I gotta say, I think this might be the most I've ever enjoyed them, which is kind of crazy. But also, I think having some sort of 20-year experience, 20-ish, where superhero movies, like Spider-Man was pretty special when it came out. I mean, we had superhero movies, but they weren't like the movies everybody was watching all year long, right?
Well, historically, it was the very first time a movie made $100 million in its opening weekend.
Oh, wow.
So that was, up until Spider-Man, that was sort of the white whale of box office.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, and just funny connective, whatever. I saw that with the same servers. That was oh, pardon my coughing. That was from the same era. But again, like watching it now and seeing how superhero movies have kind of their language and their their templates and things like that. It was interesting to go back to this one and go, wow, this is like not just a great superhero movie. Like this is a great script. Mm-hmm. Like this movie really cares about its characters and it really cares about their arcs and their experiences. And obviously we're still getting good superhero movies, but when there's so many of them, sometimes, I feel like Venom 2, frankly. One was one of them where it felt like they knew the set pieces they wanted, and then they sort of were like, I don't know, how do we make this connect? I don't know. It's more of like a roller coaster ride experience. And so what I was really taken with the Sam Raimi movies was like, man, these are great stories. Like they're not just about the end set piece, and the end set pieces were really emotional because they tied so deeply into the story, and it wasn't like, let's just have them rock'em sock'em with, Goblin a little bit. Like, and so I just walked away with like a whole new appreciation for those films. 2 is so good. And 3, as everybody, who listens to the show knows, I use Zacky's Voodoo account, and there was Spider-Man 3 in there, and you had the editor's cut.
Yes.
Right. And so I ended up watching that. And I haven't seen 3 since the theater, probably. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed it. I know Spider-Man 3 gets pooped on a lot, but like, I don't know how significantly different the editor's cut is, but it's not as strong as the others. But I still thought I was amazed at how much it was juggling. And you could still argue that it's too much and it would have been a better movie without all that it was juggling. But I was kind of impressed with how everything tied into one another. Like they at least tried to fight for the existence of every thread in that movie.
Yeah.
And so and maybe the other part of it is just watching all 3 of them together. I was connecting with the overall arc that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man went through, and him juggling, trying to have a relationship, and what does it mean to be Spider-Man? And do I even really need to do this? Like I loved him. I loved I know people were like, yeah, duh. But like, it'd been years since I had seen them. And it was really awesome going in with like sort of fresh eyes.
So I should mention, when the first Spider-Man movie came out, I watched it so many times in the theater. That was spring of 2002, and I had graduated college right around then, and my parents were out of the country for like 2 months, and so it was literally like I'd go to work and then I'd be coming home, like, well, I got nothing going on tonight. I'll just go watch Spider-Man again.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those where like every cut is ingrained in my mind.
Right.
And so one thing I want to say is, Spider-Man, out of all the comic book heroes, in my opinion, has, if not the best, one of the best origins of all of them.
Yeah.
In terms of he gets the powers, he abuses what he has, he
Mhm.
pays a horrible price, and therein lies the lesson. I mean, it's an O. Henry story.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, it still brings tears to my eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how good it is. Like,
Yeah.
even knowing it, the execution of it is so, like, guttural almost. Or like, it's like, you feel it in your bones. Like, you get angry with Peter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then sort of the lesson that he has to take away from it. I mean, it's just so well executed.
It really is. And the first film, if you were to end it at the point after Peter, confronts the person who killed his uncle, he
Mhm.
comes home, he hugs Aunt May, and the movie kind of fades to black at that moment. If you just go to credits,
Right.
you've got this pretty perfect adaptation of the very first Spider-Man comic book story.
Right.
That's how close they got it. And they did such a good job with it that you can see why the Marvel Studios people are like, you know what, we don't even need to touch it.
Yeah.
Because they really hit those
It's there.
bases. And then to your point about the third one, I think what you said is actually very evocative of my feelings, where when you watch all three together, it's kind of like, it's fine. It works. And the editor's cut, for anybody listening, the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3, I would offer is a marked improvement. I mean, it's like a letter grade improvement.
Not really even knowing. Like I say, when I watched it, I thought when it was over, well, that wasn't as bad as I remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought it was pretty... I guess there's alternate takes and a couple scenes. There's one scene in there that I thought was so beautiful between Sandman and his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't remember this. And then I found out it was a deleted scene. But
there's that. And then at the end of the film, you have, Peter comes to ask Harry Osborn for help.
Yes.
And the way in which Harry decides to help Peter is entirely different in the editor's cut and the theatrical. In the theatrical cut, they have the butler who has been in all three movies, but he's not a particularly substantial character.
Right.
But he kind of gives this info dump that absolves Spider-Man of everything that Harry blames him for. And it's the actor is actually the father of Bill Paxton.
Oh, interesting.
So both the father and the son have passed away. So I don't want to speak ill of the man.
Sure.
But I mean, he wasn't a particularly good actor.
Yeah, sure.
In terms of what was required, and plus the character wasn't substantial enough for the rest of the films to make what he had to say really work based on what the dialogue is.
He's not his Alfred.
Yes, exactly.
Alfred says he's disappointed in Bruce Wayne. You'd be like, oh, well, Bruce, maybe you should talk to him.
Yeah,
where you don't feel that relationship.
That's exactly right. So for whatever decisions led to Spider-Man 3 being released the way it was, I mean, it's always been kind of an unintended sore for Sam Raimi, who really did the best he could, given that Avi Arad was like sticking his fingers in that pie, trying to make that movie into something that it wasn't. And I think certainly with the distance of time, I mean, that movie is 15 years old at this point. It's like, well, it is what it is.
Right.
And so you can view, the Maguire Raimi era in its entirety. But you kept going through into the Garfield films, right?
We did not make it into them.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, but I mean, actually,
so you did not watch Garfield and Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties. You did not watch those.
Tale of Two Kitties. No, but those I do remember those quite well.
This is the Amazing Spider-Man, not the Garfield movie.
The Amazing, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was I'm very glad that I did that.
Well, we will come back later in the show and talk about Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Unless Brian dies sometime between now and when we get there, which
I was going to cut that, but maybe I'll save it now because that was funny. Let's see what else. Oh,
it'd be funny. I'm like, all right, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Here we go, Brian.
Oh, dude, that Brian? Would be the ultimate. After we have tried so hard, I was really busy this week, so Zachy was like, maybe record Tuesday. I was like, I'm sorry, Zachy. I don't think that's gonna happen. And we keep pushing it. Dude, nothing. I give everyone permission to laugh if I conk out. right as our discussion begins. Oh man. Let's see. Okay. So New Year's Eve. This is something that's been interesting with Federica and I, where I'm the type of person when there's a movie I want to watch, I put it on a list, and then I think tonight, no, I'm gonna save it. Like I almost put it on like a little pedestal or something, and like that's that thing that I'm gonna take off the shelf at the right moment. And I had mentioned that I wanted to watch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, or rewatch it, I should say. And then on New Year's Eve, she's like, "Do you want to watch it tonight?" And I was like, "Do we dare? Like that's on the shelf. I mean, we'll do it someday. I look forward to like." I just love that she's like a doer. She's like, "Well, let's watch it now. Why wait?" You know?
Right.
And so, New Year's Eve night, we rewatched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and I just really briefly want to say that what a freaking great movie!
It really is.
I mean, my goodness, like I remember being like, I like this movie, but like we were both in tears at the end of it. Like it's...
when he cuts off the president's head, you mean?
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Simpsons reference. For those who don't understand what we're talking about.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, when he cut off the president's head. We're just like cracking up. But no, I mean, just if you haven't seen it and you like, you know, It's a Wonderful Life and the whole Frank Capra oeuvre and just a real, just a where it's heart on its sleeve, sweet, optimistic kind of movie. Like, oh my gosh, like Jimmy Stewart, come on. Like it's just so it makes your heart swell. It's so good. So anyway, I just want to make.
Well, I will not be the guy to contradict you on Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Meaning what?
No, I mean, like, who's going to disagree with that?
Oh, yeah.
No, Brian, I think it's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Telling people to believe in doing the right thing, and I'm cynical, but I'm not that cynical.
That's hilarious. What else? Oh, I watched MacGruber. I should say I finished it up. I think I mentioned it in the last episode, but that was on Peacock. And you're a fan of MacGruber, right?
I have seen the film. I have not seen the television series, but I did want to say, isn't it great that we live in an age where you can do a MacGruber series?
You know, if we didn't have all of these streaming services and like Peacock, which is like, oh man, we need something, like, which is not me denigrating MacGruber, but like, I love that they're like, we need stuff. So it's like, MacGruber wants to make a show, we'll pay for it.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, and why I say that is because I think this movie has kind of a cult following now, but it was a huge bomb when it came out, right?
That's right.
And so the fact that it's like, you know, disappointed as it did, but then like it still gets to exist as a TV show, I think is really cool. And I would say if you like the film, it is a lot like the film, but it definitely feels stretched out to try to fit 8 episodes. I read somewhere else, and I totally think this is true. They've been trying to get this movie made for a while, so I bet they probably did have like a 100-page script, and they were like, "Oh crap, we need like 220 pages." So some of it feels a little stretched thin, whereas if it had been cut down to about like an hour 40 and been super tight, I think it might have felt a little punchier.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my only criticism. I'm just so happy they got to make this. Will Forte sometimes brings me to tears. It's so funny. There was at least one belly laugh from me per episode. So if that sounds interesting at all, I say check it out.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I bring this up last because I know you've seen it too, but I saw Adam McKay's Don't Look Up.
Yes.
On Netflix. And wow, am I curious what you thought.
Okay, so this has been an interesting one because the discourse sort of beat me to the movie. In the sense that I just got bombarded by all these people yelling and screaming at each other about Don't Look Up.
On both sides, like people pro and against it. Yeah,
exactly, right? And so I'm interested because, as you know, I'm a big fan of Adam McKay's outright comedies with Will Ferrell, which apparently will no longer happen ever again, unfortunately. And then I've liked his, pseudo-serious films. I liked both Vice and The Big Short. And so it was really just a matter of finding time to watch it. And I was finally able to do it last night, as a matter of fact. And I gotta say, I kind of liked it. I don't think it's as like there are people who are like, oh, this is the best movie I've seen all year. I definitely don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But people who are like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to cinema. I don't even understand where that's coming from.
Yeah. I guess I did too, now that I think about it. I had seen that people were kind of split. I thought the trailer looked abysmal, personally.
Okay. See, I didn't see the trailers, I should say that.
Okay, because it was like, it looked like the worst of that sort of post-Judd Apatow thing, where it's like, we got you on a hill, just let him say anything that can come out of his mouth. And the bonus, we won't cut any of it. You know what I mean? And that's what the trailer looked like to me, where it was just like, so like people that don't behave like human beings, but are just trying to do like mean improv, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ugh. But I watched it, and I gotta say, I did think the first 45 minutes of this movie felt like a bad Mad TV sketch.
I agree. I actually think the second half is stronger in my opinion.
Me too.
Yeah.
And so like, it was really weird. I saw someone write somewhere that it felt like an old person trying to make a movie for young people. And I can't say I disagree, because the first scene, Jennifer Lawrence puts a Carl Sagan bobblehead on her computer and starts listening to Wu-Tang. And I was like, this feels
she's like reciting it.
Yeah. And I was like, this feels like an old person made this. Like it's like, she's cool. Get it? Not that those things aren't cool, but it just felt so on the nose and like trying to be shorthand. But that actually is not even a complaint of mine. But it does this thing, right, where Leo DiCaprio is playing, like, I don't even remember what he is, like some researcher or something. And then they're making him like, oh, he's like I'm doing it wrong, but it was like a RILF, like a MILF, but it's like a researcher I'd like to F, right? And then the movie pauses and puts those letters on the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell?
It's very McKay-esque. There's a ton of that throughout.
But I was like, what is that? Like, I don't get it. Like, is this supposed to be like MTV, or is this supposed to be like all that stuff? I was like, okay.
That stuff struck me as a lot of McKay showing he's smarter than the room, or trying to show he's smarter than the room,
which is weird to me because we just heard them say it. It's like, did you not think we understood what you just said?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like that stuff, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long sort of thing. And a lot of the characters, behave, and I realize it's attempting to be a satire, right? So it's like they're taking these like really dim-witted.
We should say what it's about, because I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Basically, I mean, it's a really simple premise, which is these scientists discover that there's a meteor that's going to hit Earth in 6 months, and it will kill everybody.
It's an extinction level event. Yeah.
So now they're like, okay, well, we've got to tell the president, and they can implement, a plan to figure out how to tackle this. And then, of course, they go to the president, who's like a kind of like a Trumpy sort of person, played by Meryl Streep. And
the president is not Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact.
No. So it's like they don't take it very seriously, because they're more worried about like a Supreme Court nominee. And so then, like, well, we'll go leak it to the press. And so they try to go on like a news program. And it's like, this is where I felt like it's like, it's hard, because I appreciate that they were trying to
totally
do like a hyper reality where these people behaved like complete friggin' idiots, these like newscasters. And it's weirdly and sadly not too far from a lot of news programs are. But it also just felt like either, I don't know what the problem is, either A, I know, or B, like, then no one in this world feels real, but then the movie calms down about like 45 minutes in or 50 minutes in, and the last half I actually really enjoyed.
So Brian, to that point, right? Here was my observation. It feels like the first 2/3 are trying to be Doctor Strangelove.
Yes, 100%.
Right? And then it felt to me like the last third was failsafe.
Yes.
And that was somewhat jarring, but that's to me what the movie did. And again, like it ended, and I almost can't help but have my reaction be in response to other people's reactions, which was so like there was a level of vitriol which was like normally reserved for Michael Bay movies and shit, right? And I was like, I didn't regret having watched it. I was just like, okay, no, I mean, there's stuff happening there. I appreciate the swing, and that's it,
Yeah, it has been so interesting. Like I was in a little group thing the other day and people were talking about it, and they were making the argument, if you don't like it, then you're not on the side of the message. And I was like, no,
I mean, come on.
like
Come on.
nothing could be further from the truth. Like I just didn't like the style of the first half. It felt very aggressive, weirdly not very funny to me. But that's not to say there weren't funny things. There's a whole runner about snacks at the White House.
Yes.
That is
funny.
That is an A+ joke. Like, that is hysterical. But like, I didn't find the caricatures funny. But again, like, yeah, once it turns into a movie where it actually becomes about how these people are kind of dealing with this, and there were still comedic elements to it. When it was over, I didn't regret watching it at all, and it was actually better than I thought it was going to be going in with a low bar. So
I think we both on ramp to this movie from the same perspective.
Yeah, I think so. And I found the ending like oddly sweet. And then there's like the end credits scene that I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Yes. Well, and the thing is that, completely unrelated to this movie, but my second son, he's been watching this show that's in my Vudu library that I think it was like a History Channel show or something. It's called Doomsday.
Okay.
And it's like this 10-episode series that takes you through 10 different ways the world could end.
Oh, I think I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. The way, and which is like, if you know my second kid, that's like the most on brand thing he could be watching, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been sitting there watching like all these different like way, one is like a gamma radiation storm, one is like a super volcano, and one of them is, of course, this comet hitting the earth. So I'm like, oh, hey, I know what's going to happen here.
Right.
I've seen this movie before,
Right.
But I think I don't even know how we can talk about this without spoiling the ending. But I mean, it is a downbeat ending. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And at least me, it ended, and I was sort of pondering the inevitability of whatever that moment is.
Mm.
And the movie left me in my thoughts for a few minutes. And whenever a movie can do that, I'm appreciative of it.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. And, I'm actually thinking now really broadly, I think people don't like a movie that's somewhere in the middle for them. Like, they either want to love it or they hate it. And like, when you have a conversation with someone, they're like, is it good or is it bad? And I think even with Matrix recently, the same conversation I had with those people yesterday, people were either it was good or it was bad. And I was like, I'm in the middle, and I know that maybe that's frustrating because then you have to listen to me for 2 minutes to explain myself. But like, that's just how I feel, and I think that's how I felt about this. Like, I think there were some moments that were just huge whiffs, but I think there were some moments that were like really admirable swings, and it's messy. It's a super messy movie, But like I say, I walked away surprised that when it was over, like you say, it stuck with me. I thought about it. It was not, thankfully, 2 hours total of that really awful improv thing that I thought it was going to
Yes.
be. Yeah, kind of. It's hard. It's hard to talk about. I don't think it can be summed up. You do kind of have to have this conversation.
I did really like DiCaprio in this.
I did too, and I gotta admit, I hate to be this guy, but when he had his kind of network moment on the news,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you wanted to have a network moment.
Right.
Like, I almost could imagine McKay at his laptop being like, oh, dude, people are going to put this on Twitter. This is going to be like the clip that defines, like people will be able to use this and I'll be like cool with it even. Like, go for it. Use this clip.
Totally.
Like, and I hate thinking that way, but I did.
No, it's right. Well, it's like, that clip of Jeff Daniels from the Newsroom pilot.
Right.
Which, even if you've never seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. I just saw it again like yesterday, I think, actually.
Yeah, because it gets passed around all the time.
Yeah.
So I totally see what you're saying about that.
Yeah. I don't know why, though, because I personally, I do agree with what he's trying to express. A frustration and a feeling of, this thing is happening and I really wish I could get people to understand me. But I don't know why the approach annoyed me for the first half.
No, I think you're right.
I
think it's trying desperately, longingly to be Strangelove.
Yes.
And it's just not at that level.
Yeah.
Like, it's swinging way out of its weight class.
There you go. That's it. That's it. But I do feel like, again, I mean, I'm just repeating myself now, but I feel like once it really spends time with its characters and then we're following their different paths and the way that them going out there and exposing themselves to the world like this, different things happen to them. And I found all of that interesting. And then how, as inevitability gets closer and closer, how different people who didn't believe in this thing, suddenly you can see it in the sky, and I thought all that was really interesting. And that's the stuff I really responded to and enjoyed.
A thought that I have, and this is only sort of as we're talking about this, we certainly understand the cynicism that this thing is just dipped in, right? I mean, this is a pox on all their houses,
right?
As if there is any kind of an ideology that's informing this movie, and I do wonder how useful that is, right? Because it's meant to be analogous to like climate change or something like that, right? And so is it helpful to say, well, we're all screwed anyway? Like, is that the message you want to impart?
It's funny because I can appreciate wanting to express frustration.
Yeah.
But then I guess you do, whether you like it or not, have to think about the art that you're creating and how it will best, what do you want it to do? You know what I mean? Like, who do you want to watch it and how you want it to be received? And I do find it interesting how many people who like McKay, and even on his sort of, his messages side, still didn't like it, Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, with that, Brian and I will be pondering the end of the world while y'all are listening to these commercials for snow tires or whatever. And we are back. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Are you centered? Are you feeling good?
Yeah. No, I feel good.
Are you out of your thoughts now?
I'm just not going to look up.
Yeah, that's if there is one message we can definitively take away from the film based on its title, it's don't look up.
Yep.
Clearly. By the way, I saw the new Scream movie.
Yes. Yeah. I keep forgetting about it.
This is the 5th Scream, and despite my hope it would be called Scrifivum,
right?
It's in fact just called Scream, and I'm really looking forward to discussing this with you.
Me too. I was a little indifferent to it. Like, I knew it was coming. I knew I'd probably watch it at some point, but I'm like kind of in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen, the sort of quick Twitter reactions to it, and they seem to be pretty positive.
Yeah. So, I mean, anybody listening knows you and I are not huge gory horror buffs.
Yeah.
Speaking for me personally, I feel like Scream is basically the outer line for me when it comes to that type of movie.
100%.
That's about as far as I've been able to go. And I enjoyed the first two films quite a bit. I wasn't as big a fan of the third one. I only just now watched the fourth one and found it. I didn't think it was bad, but I like that it is part of this 5-part story now. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure.
So like it works as part of that. But I'm really looking forward to discussing because I have a feeling where you'll land on this. I'm reasonably certain, but I'm looking forward to discussing that. I do. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, Scream is the only horror franchise that has a continuity stretching back to its first movie. In other words, like, Halloween, they did like the legacy sequel, but it ignored everything after the first movie. Right. Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, like none of that stuff. It's all catch as catch can. I don't even know what's happening with those. But Scream, you go from 1996 to now, and all the movies are part of one big story.
Right, like Sidney and Gail and all. Like they're all And
I'm like, I think that's a unicorn in terms of horror franchises.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no expert on them, but I wonder if, with say like a Friday the 13th, if they just kill everybody, so he has to go some new location.
Well, and I know we've got plenty of horror buffs listening who might be better equipped to answer this, but I mean, I feel like even Friday the 13th, before they did like a hard reboot with like the Michael Bay movie or the Michael Bay produced movie. They within those films they'd like ignore this one, and they were just kind of, because let's face it, you're not watching those films for the Jason cinematic universe, right? You just want to see him machete people.
Now that I think about it, a lot of the reason I have a hard time with horror movies is because I don't like watching innocent people get tortured, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, have they ever done one where he ends up in like some sort of like, I don't know, place like filled with bad guys? And so then it's just like these bad guys have to fight off this force, but like maybe you wouldn't feel as bad because at least he's taken out like,
if anybody listening knows the answer to that, I would love to hear it because I have no idea.
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious about that. Like evil versus evil, kind of.
I think what you're saying about watching innocent people get like mutilated, I'm with there. Like that's why I forget like Hostel and all that other shit. Forget it. I don't even want to go near it. But like even like rewatching the first Scream in the lead up to this, and the first scene is of course the iconic thing with Drew Barrymore. Like that, it makes me uncomfortable.
It makes uncomfortable because I think you can't help but run through your head that like that's like a teenage girl, and her parents like show up at the end, and I mean, it's just and like her boyfriend is killed in front of her, I think, and like it's very relatable, and so it makes you feel sad. It makes me feel sad.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I think the appeal is pretty obvious because it's that that emotional "what would you do" type of thing. But yeah. So anyway, this is fodder for a much broader discussion, in our next episode, hopefully. But assuming you're able to go see it, because Omicron be showing up, being like, "Hey,
I know,
you coming back to theaters, are you?"
I know. This is definitely something I'm keeping an eye on. But it's reminding me of too, by the way, the Scream movies. I've said this before, but usually other horror movies, it's like, here are the people you're going to get to watch die. and you're like, cool. Like, oh, he's by like a fire in a sleeping bag. Like, I bet he's going to get roasted in there. Like, it's all about like the fun of the set piece of watching these people die. But I think Scream is almost like a Psych episode or something, or Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
But you see the murders. Where, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whodunit. There's a mystery element to it. It's like one of those procedural shows, except you happen to witness. It's not like they wake up the next morning and Jessica Fletcher sees someone by the docks. You see the moment at the docks, and then Jessica Fletcher tries to figure it out.
That's very apt, and that's a great reference that nobody under 40 will understand who's listening to this. So thank you.
Murder She Wrote. I'm talking about
Jessica Fletcher, the biggest mass murderer in Cabot Cove history. Clearly,
that would have been the best series finale. Is if you realize that she was doing it the whole time for her books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new film. It is just as the earlier films. It was a commentary on horror movie tropes. It was commentary on trilogies. This is a meta commentary on legacy sequels.
I love it.
Which, what better time for that?
Is this Kevin? Well, obviously Wes Craven is not back because
Wes Craven is not. Unfortunately, his absence is felt. But I do think the film honors what he built up.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin Williamson also did not write this. However, he is an executive producer, which I'm assuming means that he gets a nice check out of it.
Sure. Okay.
The most jarring thing for me is when Neve Campbell is the and.
Oh, right.
and that's not a reflection of anything that happens to her character, but the fact that that's what we do in legacy sequels, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really funny.
But I am looking forward to discussing that. So.
Yeah, same.
In our next episode, hopefully. We got a couple listener letters here, Brian. I did want to delve into them before we get to the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Yeah.
So this is a message I got on Twitter from Adam Lance Hendrickson, and he says, "Loved the Matrix episode. You and I are very much in the same boat. It took me down a rabbit hole of antenna television to cable to streaming and apps, etc., as being new versions of the Matrix. I often talk with a friend at church about the loss of the mall being huge to simply getting a visual on, quote, other people. Hello, Hot Topic." He says, Amazon is another new version of the Matrix. I so appreciate what you and Brian do. Thanks for extending your passions for movies and life into other people's lives. It makes a huge difference. So thank you, Adam, for that. And that thought about the mall, I think, is so dead on. It's not something I've thought about.
Yeah, no, same.
Like, just how much of a part of our lives was going to the mall to hang out?
Yeah. I mean, I think of when you and I talk about certain older movies. We've talked about this. I don't know if it's a phenomenon, but like when we mention like Last Crusade, I remember exactly where I saw that, which was at Stratford Square Mall. Which funny.
So those of you waiting for the Stratford Square reference,
there it is.
Take your shot.
But then it reminds me of, and then I went and got ice cream by the fountains over there, and then I walked over to the KB Toys and looked at that. Like, yeah, like that was an afternoon.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny too, talking about, the people, observing different people there. And yeah, you're right. That's just so lost now.
It is lost to the Matrix.
Yeah.
So there. Yeah. And thank you for that, Adam. With a opposing point of view, here is a message we got from Amr Alavi, and this is via Facebook. Amr, by the way, is listening to us in Hong Kong.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he says, hope you and Federica are all recovered, Brian.
Thank you.
He says, as far as the movie, Matrix Resurrections, all I can say is I'm envious. It seems both of you found things that resonated with you. For me, it utterly fell flat with no redeeming qualities at all, to the point where I don't see the point of its existence beyond we have to make another one. And as someone who loved the entire original quadrilogy, yes, I'm counting the Animatrix, that's a bit heartbreaking. And I think that's an entirely valid reaction.
Absolutely. It's so fascinating. I mean, I love the talk that we had, and like, I know you leaned a little more positive than me, but I'd still say I'm somewhere middle positive. And it was just so fascinating. Like I said, the other day talking to these people, and it was either a hard yes or a hard no. And I appreciate that if that's how they felt. But I finally came up with how I felt about it on the call. I actually said I felt like it was sloppy but heartfelt. And I actually mean that as a compliment. Like it just had a lot that it was trying to do, and it had some things I thought were a little undercooked and some things that I thought were cooked to perfection. But no matter what, I felt like it was heartfelt. Even with some of the cynicism baked in at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was obviously Lana expressing feelings that she has about the whole experience about a fourth Matrix. I would still, you could call it cynicism, but I would still say that was coming from her heart.
Yeah.
And what she was experiencing and the turmoil she maybe feels over it. So I found those things to grab onto, but I can entirely understand it not working for everybody.
Well, and what Amr says about not seeing the point of its existence beyond we have to make another one. I mean, that's not wrong either, because that is the chain of events that led to this thing getting made.
Right. Like, if you don't, we will.
Yeah.
And so she did.
And so then the question becomes, and this is unanswerable to some extent, is this better than the non-Wachowski sequel we very likely would have gotten?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, well, I'm glad that's not an eventuality that happened.
I mean, if whether or not they do make those, and if they do, I obviously hope they're good. I'm just glad we got something else from the brain of the person who, brought this forth to begin with.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. That's what I want to see. I want to see their brain.
Now, I will say that since the last time we recorded, I have watched this film a third time or a further time. I don't remember how many times I'd seen it by then, but I just love this movie so much. I really do. Like, I hope eventually it's viewed as just part of this story,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that as we said last time, like if you don't like the sequels, then yeah, there's nothing here for you. But for those who do like the sequels and weren't crazy about this one, I hope eventually they're able to come around and appreciate the things that are worth appreciating about it.
I mean, it's very likely, right? I mean, the experience people are having with the sequels now, giving it some distance. And
I mean, we've spent so much time talking about like when we take expectations into the theater, and how those can kind of kick you in the ass a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was just shortly before we recorded, I was talking to my brother. My brother was visiting, and we were watching the end of The Dark Knight and how just what a perfect ending that movie has.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were discussing The Dark Knight Rises, and I mentioned how, I remember when that movie came out. That was, in fact, the subject of our very first episode of this show.
Wow.
And I couldn't get out of my own head in terms of what I wanted it to be. But when you watch it separate from all of that, you say, you know what, it's a pretty good ending to that story.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something freeing about that.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you devour every shit sandwich that's put in front of you.
Sure.
But there is something nice about just being, you know what? That's the thing that it is. Let me look at it as what it is. And I find that useful,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If that, this is, by the way, the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight Rises, Brian. So,
Whoa.
we may need to sit down and power through all 6.5 hours of that movie to do commentary for.
I would love that, actually.
You just need just block out half your day.
Yes.
and we'll get that sucker recorded.
Yeah. I was gonna say take the phone off the hook just because that doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know. Something that's still inside my head.
That is a very dated reference. Yeah. One last message that we got. This is at MovieFilmPodcast@gmail.com, and this is from Thomas Olson, who says, Happy New Year. I got a few questions for you both, but first I wanted to say I loved your commentaries on Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. You both gave great insights, and I have a lot more appreciation for both films. The highlight, though, was your deep and insightful thoughts about the poor janitor in Zion who has to clean up after the rave.
I was just thinking about that again last night, actually.
That poor bastard in the overalls.
Yeah.
He says that may have been one of the hardest I've laughed at something in a while. Well, thank you for that.
Man. 100% agree with that.
Here's Thomas' questions. He says, do either of you use the social media app Letterboxd? If you're not familiar with it, it's basically an app to share movie reviews, lists, etc. with friends. It's a lot of fun and highly recommended if you don't have it. It also doesn't seem to have the same kind of toxicity as you see on Twitter around movie discussions. Do you use Letterboxd?
I signed up for it, I think when it was new,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember why I didn't stick to it, but I've mentioned this before. I got this habit. I can't believe this. I've been doing this since 2010, but I literally write down every movie I watch and I put a date. So it's like the date and then Matrix Resurrections, the date. And then at the end of the year, I have an entire complete list of every movie I've watched. And I now have over a decade's worth of this.
Amazing.
It's like a 30-page Word document.
So this is not just going to the theater.
No, but I have like these weird little rules for myself where it's like, if I start halfway through something on TV, that doesn't count. It's like, what did I sit down and dedicate to watching?
You realize you are Jamie Kennedy in Scream. That's you.
I've always wanted to make a video and send it to you and be like, all right, if you're watching this, I'm probably dead. Here's what you need to know. Like,
A, 2, and D.
Yeah. I've always thought that'd be really funny to send to like you and Sean. Like, what's this? What did Brian just text me?
So that's a no. So that's a no on Letterboxd.
Well, I was gonna say, Letterboxd feels like a much more
might be easier,
less manifesto in the woods sort of way of track of like the movies I'm watching, because that's definitely how I'm feeling right now. You?
I do not. I've had plenty of people recommend it to me, and it's just not for lack of desire or anything like that. I just have not done it.
Mm-hmm.
But I may.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
At the end of the year, we tend to do a best of the previous year.
Yeah.
How do you? So I refer back to this list, and then I look, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, January, I watched this," and then I kind of cull from that. How do you tend to keep track of? Like, I mean, do you?
I usually just pull up a list of like movies, movie releases for the year by month.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of glance at it and look at and I, make note of the ones I liked.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I roll.
Cool. This is actually making me feel like maybe I'll go on Letterboxd and get this all.
I feel like, given you're doing at least part of the job already.
Yeah.
Seems like you could just put that on there, and that would be easier for you.
Yeah.
Thomas continues. He says, I'm curious why at the end of your review / discussions of a recent release, or at the end of your commentary tracks, you don't give a rating of the film, like a star rating or a letter grade, etc.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was thinking, I guess we do like a thumbs up thing, right? Like,
yeah,
kind of, but we're not like consistent.
It's funny. I do like, it used to be like 4 stars or thumbs up, right? 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like now that I'm seeing 5 stars, because it gives a twinge more nuance, or even like 10, 7 out of 10 or something like that. And sometimes when I'm having a hard time expressing my mixed feelings for a movie, I'll occasionally be like B-, because I feel like that helps me express what my too many words are not successfully expressing.
Right.
It's not something that it's not a staple for us that we do.
Yeah. It's, I find number scales very challenging. I find letter grades are slightly easier, but I have to be honest, I think the best ranking system I've found is the one we have at the Chronicle, where we have what's called the little man ratings. And what this is it's a 5-point scale of a guy sitting in a chair. And so little man 1 is he's excitedly jumping out of his chair, applauding. And then little man 5 is he's asleep in the chair. And so everything is on that spectrum. And I'm like, that's kind of the best I've encountered.
Yeah.
Because you can be like sitting up at attention, or you can be sort of leaning forward and applauding, and it pretty much hits that whole range,
Yeah.
So that's what I like. We when this show first started, we would do thumbs up. We do the thumbs up with an asterisk. Remember that was?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of our vernacular for a while. And now we just we have the discussion, and then, and we leave it where it is. We do occasionally say, okay, so that's a thumbs up for you.
Yeah.
But I guess we just forget, to be honest.
Yeah.
Last question from Thomas. He says, have either of you watched the Cobra Kai series? I feel like I may not have heard it mentioned in the past, but I wasn't sure. I just finished season 4 and really enjoyed it. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on it if you haven't seen it. So I have not, if you have seen it, excuse me, I have not seen the 4th season, but I am up on the show. And you and I discussed the first season like way back in the day.
Yeah, you were pretty adamant about me watching season 1, and I really enjoyed it. And then I just lost it. Like I think season 2 came out, kind of missed it. But I just hear people love this show.
Yeah.
And there's always just been 2 or 3 other things that I felt like I had to get to first. But having just finished MacGruber, I'm like, you know what? This is kind of perfect. And I'm in the mood for it. Like maybe I'll just go back.
Might be the time.
Yeah. And so many people are saying, I loved it. And it's just so easy to binge. So I'm like, all right, maybe now's the time.
And for all of our discussions about legacy sequels, I think Cobra Kai may be the bar in terms of how to do it in a way that honors the past while carrying forward.
Okay.
And there have been plenty of good and bad examples. I really feel like Cobra Kai has managed to thread the needle in a pretty perfect way.
Cool, man. That's getting me excited. Maybe start that pretty quickly over here.
There you go. You go, Tommy. Tommy also ends with the PS. Brian, thank you for the quick discussion of Spielberg's West Side Story.
Yeah.
I went into that movie completely blind, having never seen any other version of it, and loved it. It might be my favorite movie of the year, and hearing your love for it was very validating.
I'm so happy. It's been so interesting with West Side Story because you thought maybe it would become sort of a dominant December discussion. But
it just, not at all.
It didn't at all. And I walked out of it just really high on it. Like I loved it. And I wasn't sure if it's just my Spielberg-y sort of inclinations or what, but I was like, no, I just loved what I just experienced. And it is, speaking to the validation, it has been so nice. I've just been seeing it almost universally. People who have seen it are just like, man, that was just sizzle. That was just so good. And so I'm happy Tommy felt the same way, and that we can sort of bond over this through the show.
Well, and it does feel like that's a movie that's going to find an audience on streaming.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that the theatrical marketplace is in the midst of a very seismic shift.
Yeah.
And we just need to sort of accept that that's the case, that what may have been a hit at one time may not necessarily be a hit anymore.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, I had the unique experience. I got to go see it theatrically at the DGA, and it was really awesome. But I'm being a bit more judicious about the theater in this moment right now. But right. I'm like, just talking about it again, I'm like, man, I would really love to see that one more time on a big screen if I can.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to talk about it with you.
I'm looking forward to finally having the opportunity.
Yeah.
So with that, let's take another short break, and then we'll come back, talk through some brief headlines, and then we'll talk about the movie that we are focused on for this episode. And we are back, and just a little bit of sad news to get this discussion started. We've lost a few really towering personalities in the world of film and media since the last time we talked. 2021 had to kick us in the balls one last time on his way out the door. Betty White passed away on December 31st, 2 weeks before her 100th birthday.
Yep.
What an icon.
Absolutely. And you know what? For darn near her entire life, right?
Yes, right.
I just think, obviously, she must have loved it, to continue doing it. Like, she loved the work and she loved creating and whatnot, and she did it, way into every chapter of her life, right? But I think the very first thought I had wasn't even sadness. I was like, I am so glad that she got to feel that celebration for her.
Yeah.
before she passed.
That's so well articulated, because how many people in that industry in particular, and women in particular, can say they worked consistently right up until until just about 100 years old?
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, she was constantly in demand. I was, you know, just randomly, I put on a random episode of Community, and she was on it.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, wow, look at that. You know, just completely random. This was last night. And like, what show didn't she appear on at some point or another, you know?
yeah. And even, you know, these days with like Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers, and there's this almost like we're going back and reappreciating people.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, those people, they were really great people. And I feel like she got to see people doing that for her, where it's like, no,
Yeah.
not only do we love what you've done, like we love you, you know. And she hosted SNL, and you know, several years ago, and like it was just, I don't even want to call her Renaissance because she never went away, but there was just almost like this moment where it became like, you know what, we love Betty White, and I just love that
Right.
she got to be there for that. She got to experience that and feel all that love, you know. Because sometimes when people pass, and then there's these huge sort of, you know, people writing all these things and everyone reappreciating and like, you know, man, we're so lucky we got to have them in our lives, you know, and in some way. And it makes me sad that they don't get to experience that appreciation, right? And so I was just like, wow, Betty White got to feel that.
That's so true. Yeah. So a life well lived and a legacy that was long ago cemented for Betty White.
Yeah.
And I mean, even at 100, honestly, it was just like, oh no, she's just going to be around. Like,
I know.
you know, there was definitely that feeling. Peter Bogdanovich also passed away this week.
Yeah.
An icon of the 1970s sort of tour movement that we saw in Hollywood. Are you familiar with many of his films or any of his films?
You know, no, if I'm being entirely honest. Like there's a lot of things like Paper Moon and Last Picture Show, and those are always ones like when Netflix was first a thing and you could get all these DVDs. It's like I made a list of all the movies that people are like, you haven't seen blank? And I feel like that's probably like a couple movies that are still kind of on that list. Like I got to get to those, you know? How about yourself?
Yeah, you've got some very consequential films waiting for you. And I mean, he paved a road that so many people followed and arguably found a far greater degree of success with, you know?
Sure.
And yet, but for him, you know, the so many of the important directors of the 70s would not have had a template to follow.
I'm just looking at his IMDb. I didn't know he did Mask, the Eric Cher movie. Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Huh. I've seen that. I had no idea that was him.
So you got some good movies to look forward to, and he was also a talking head in a lot of these cinema documentaries, and always had obviously a very valuable perspective to offer.
Yeah.
And then lastly, just yesterday we lost Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
At 94 years old, Sidney Poitier.
Wow.
He's another one of those actors who was just kind of a fact of life.
Yes. Yeah.
Like even as a kid, I was like, oh well, he's important. Like I just, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I've seen more of his films, but like likewise, I like In the Heat of the Night is one of those ones. It's like on my list.
You got to watch that.
Yeah.
that is, I mean, his performance. It's easy to sort of lose the temporal context in which that performance existed.
Sure.
In terms of playing a self-possessed, confident Black person in the South, who, you know, that's not something that necessarily we think about in the same way anymore. Like, oh, that's so groundbreaking, right? And yet we don't think of it that way precisely because Sidney Poitier did it. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely In the Heat of the Night, if you haven't seen it. There was also a sequel to that, which I like, called They Call Me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, okay.
And he won the Oscar, by the way, no, I'm sorry, he did not win for In the Heat of the Night. He won for Lilies in the Field, but In the Heat of the Night won Best Picture for the year it was released. But of course, Sneakers, which you've seen.
I love Sneakers.
He had a key role in that, and it almost feels like that was the last like major film he was in.
Yeah. That's a
Right?
good
Like,
point.
I mean, it's been a little while. Like he was in a few things. He did a sequel to Sir with Love for television.
Hmm.
Right. So to Sir with Love, the first film that's like, probably one of the earliest examples of like the dedicated teacher genre.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So to Sir with Love, that was 1967, and then he did a TV movie sequel, which I want to say it was in the mid 90s.
Hmm.
See
I'm
if I can
looking,
find that. 1996. I'm just looking it up now. Yeah.
To Serve with Love too. Yeah.
Directed by none other than Peter Bogdanovich, by the way.
What?
Yep.
Oh wow.
So there you go.
Huh.
Two giants who had the opportunity to work together. So all three, Betty White, Peter Bogdanovich, and Sidney Poitier, they leave us poorer for their passing.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, another passing that has occurred is any chance of Luke Hobbs appearing in the Fast and Furious sequels, Brian?
Well, and we are
Another passing that leaves us poorer.
Oh man. Yeah.
This drama, I want the movie about this. I want like the Freddy's New Nightmare version of whatever's going on behind the scenes of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
A month ago, Vin Diesel posts a thing on Instagram, and it's a picture of him and Dwayne Johnson in character staring each other down, and it says, "My little brother Dwayne,
Yes.
the time has
first
come."
of all, yeah.
Right? Like, the world awaits the finale of Fast 10. As you know, my children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne in my house. There's not a holiday that goes by that they don't and you don't send well wishes, but the time has come. Legacy awaits. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to Pablo, me and Paul Walker. I swore that we would reach and manifest the best fast in the finale. That is 10! Exclamation point. I say this out of love, but you must show up. Do not leave the franchise idle that you have a very important role to play. Hobbs can't be played by no other. I hope that you rise to the occasion and fulfill your destiny, ... at the movies.
Did you really do that?
No, I added that one.
Oh.
But the fact that it's an open-ended question, that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I read that and I'm like, dude, she's not going to sleep with you. Like it gave me that vibe.
So, yeah.
Right? Wow. I was like cringing on his behalf.
Yes.
So Dwayne Johnson not only slammed the door, he opened it and slammed it again just to make sure it stayed permanently slammed.
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked about this. I was like, he has no, like, there's no leverage they have over him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't need, he doesn't need to.
No.
Because it's not a question of him not playing Hobbs again. He can do that because they're going to do more of those Hobbs movies.
Right.
So he put out a statement in response to it. First of all, he said he was very surprised by this post. He says, this past June, when Vin and I actually connected, not over social media, I told him directly and privately that I would not be returning to the franchise. I was firm yet cordial with my words and said that I would always be supportive of the cast and always root for the franchise to be successful, but there was no chance I would return. I privately spoke with my partners at Universal as well, all of whom are very supportive as they understand the problem. He says, Vin's recent public post was an example of his manipulation. I didn't like that he brought up his children in the post as well as Paul Walker's death. Leave them out of it.
Yeah.
Which, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
I read Dwayne Johnson's statement. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I know. But you know what? I mean, if that's what Vin Diesel's going to put out there, like, this feels like an appropriate response. Like, look, we talked about this. We have an understanding, or I thought we had an understanding, and then you go out and put this sort of, finger pointy guilt trip, whatever, out there for everyone. And how am I supposed to respond?
It is weird because the history of these Fast and Furious movies over the last few years is the co-stars getting on social media and pleading with Dwayne Johnson. Because Tyrese was doing that a couple years ago too, remember?
Yeah.
And you get it, because I think the movies benefit from him being in them. But I think if nothing else, it tells you about the remarkable amount of clout and capital that Dwayne Johnson has built up. That he can afford to be entirely choosy with whatever he does. And he can afford to say no to arguably the biggest non-superhero franchise going right now.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
This Red Notice is apparently the most watched Netflix movie in history. Not a bad feather to put in your cap.
No, but it's just, speaking of the movie about this, like, I mean, you can kind of imagine what it is, their problem with one another, but I would love to read an oral history or something about, like, all the microaggressions and all the thing that finally came to a head, and what it was, their problem. Like, it would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Like,
the one thing that sure seems clear, and it seemed clear to me going all the way back to Saving Private Ryan, is that Vin Diesel seems like a guy who loves the smell of his own farts.
Yeah.
He's just, he worships at the altar of Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
And the one thing that sure feels like it's the case with Dwayne Johnson is he seems remarkably comfortable in his own skin, or at the very least, he's done a hell of a job putting the image out there that he is very comfortable in his own skin. And so these are two personality types that just, you cannot imagine them gelling in any workable way.
Yeah.
So the fact that they got whatever it is, 4 movies together is itself kind of remarkable. I guess less remarkable when you consider that they had no interaction on the last one that they did.
Right.
But that is something.
It is funny that, like, Vin Diesel thinks he's like Cecil B. DeMille. These movies, it's like, I don't know. It just the sort of self-importance, and I don't know. I remember him talking about him and the Letty character. It's the greatest romance in cinema history. Like, really? But
the thing is that Vin Diesel is older than Dwayne Johnson, so you can, maybe he's calling him little brother because of that.
Right.
But let's be real. Like,
what you're doing.
You know what you're right. And I'm thinking, like, if you really, like, if you desperately want him back, then you get on the phone and you say, listen, what do we have to do to make it happen?
Yeah.
And you make, like, why would you?
Up?
What a concept.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is where we're at with the Rock's involvement in the Fast and Furious series. There is, as we said, there is a Luke Hobbs sequel on the way. So,
is it really?
They are going to be doing one, as far as I know. So
I really did not like that movie.
I remember we had quite an extensive conversation about that.
Yeah.
That is 3 years ago already, if you can believe that.
No. By the way, I rewatched a good with The Rock in it called Fighting with My Family.
Oh yeah, with Florence Pugh.
I can't remember if we talked about that on here, but highly recommend it. Good sports movie.
I have seen half of it. It sits half watched in my queue, and I just watched the first half earlier this week. Just completely
really?
chance.
Wow, what are the odds?
Yeah,
well,
it's a true fact. So there is that, and in other news, there is a massively successful movie that is dominating the box office right now, to the detriment of literally everything else.
Yeah,
and that is Spider-Man: No Way Home, which as of now sits at, I believe, number 6 at the all-time box office.
Oh wow! Last I checked, it was 10. That's, well, you know what? I bet once you get toward the top, it's all pretty close, right? So it's like, you keep crawling and you're gonna pass over everybody. Wow.
So anyone who was expecting the 355 to defeat Spider-Man, that did not happen.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, next time. I don't know.
Sorry. I got an email from Corey Hebine, by the way, who said, doesn't it feel like this is that Fox Force 5 pilot that in Pulp Fiction that's referred to.
Yeah, that's right.
And what's funny is he did like the like 355. Fox is 3 letters, Force is 5 letters, and 5 is 5.
And 5 is in there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. I love that little speech she gives. Yeah. Wow. Funny. Man, maybe I would go see it if it was Fox Sports 5. I don't know.
So looking at Spider-Man's run at the box office, it is currently, as of today, it's let's see, it'll be number 6 all time. So I fully expect it'll make it into the top 5. This is domestic. Worldwide, I think it's at 8. No, sorry, worldwide it's
I see.
Worldwide it's at like 10, but it'll be moving up.
Okay.
So this is not only a very successful Spider-Man movie, it is Sony's most successful film ever.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a resounding victory for Marvel Studios and their method of putting these movies together. So lots to talk about here. We've been talking about legacy sequels a lot, and I have to say, between, at least this is just me, but between Ghostbusters Afterlife and Matrix Resurrections and then Spider-Man No Way Home, I was eating good at the tail end of last year in terms of legacy sequels.
Yeah.
So I have my thoughts, but I think people know what I think. What did you think of Spider-Man No Way Home?
So when you talk about the discourse, right? Encountering that before you get to watch a movie. I mean, we were at such a disadvantage over here with this movie. And knowing that people were loving it and it was just blowing up the box office and just sitting here, you can't help but have your expectations, rise and rise and rise. And then you're like, oh no, and then of course, certain things you can't help but learn about that are in the film and whatnot. And so anyway, when we finally got to go see the movie, I was like, look, I know everybody loves this. I expect to like it a lot. And here we go. And man, I loved this movie. It didn't matter. Expectations, none of it mattered. It's just that good. And it made me, so this is why I think it was important to bring up those previous Spider-Man movies where they felt like they worked so hard on the characters and the stories. And I feel like more than too many movies these days do. And so that's why it stood out to me how good the storytelling was in the first 3 Spider-Man movies. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this one, after having watched those, this one sits so nicely with those where it's like they really cared about the journey of the characters in this movie. And it didn't feel like, let's just go have fun with Spider-Man. They really had something to say. They had some unique things that they could do. And by the end of it, I felt like this character really went on a meaningful journey that I felt. Right. And so I laughed, I cried, I was thrilled. I just don't know what more you could ask for. This, mm-hmm. I think I told you off air. I literally had a moment during the movie where I was like, you look up crowd pleaser in a dictionary, they should put the poster of this movie next to it. And I mean that in the most positive sense. This movie is just calculated to make you love it, and they succeed. Yeah, it's hard to talk about it without getting into spoilers more than that, other than to say that, I thought it was a great story. I thought it was a unique and interesting story. And it's unique. And I mean, you could see where this could possibly go off the rails in some ways, but they just absolutely execute it in the most satisfying way. I just walked out in the greatest mood when it was over. Yeah, I loved it.
So my sense is it's a thumbs up from you?
Yeah, I'd say thumbs up. No asterisk.
No asterisk. Yeah, the most fun thing for me was having the exact opposite experience as you did with this movie, where I saw it, 3 days early.
Yep.
So I got to sit there for 3 days being like,
right.
Knowing people were about to just have their minds blown,
Yep.
And the fact that every expectation they had was going to be met.
Mm-hmm.
and that was exciting to me.
Right.
Right? Because this. And there was all the complaints about the trailers aren't showing enough and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would offer that the trailers gave us the exact right amount.
Agreed.
Because when it mattered, I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, that's what you want from a movie like this, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about, which we'll talk about on the other side of the spoiler wall. But the key thing for me is Tom Holland has always been great in this role, but like, I think he's next level in this one.
Agreed. I even thought the direction had stepped up from the previous ones. Not that they weren't any good, but I don't know. It was noticeable to me that how good the direction was in this one.
Yeah, I definitely I think John Watts did step up his game.
Yeah, everybody brought their A game and had stepped up. Even though Tom Holland's always been good, I mean, he's asked to do a lot more.
Yeah.
In this. I mean, there's a whole spectrum of feelings that he has to experience, and I just thought man, what a perfect Peter Parker, you know?
Well, I think everyone knows it's a thumbs up from us. So at this point, let's just get into the spoilers.
Let's do it.
Spoilers.
So when you watched it, did you know about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire coming back?
That had been a rumor for so long that I just sort of accepted it as a given.
Okay.
And I'm almost certain I must have known. But I am actually kind of amazed at how well I was able to stay away from spoilers. I mean, obviously in the trailer we see that Doc Ock is back, Alfred Molina, and so I think that probably I was like, okay, so that's what's going to happen, right? Like they're gonna come back, but like, especially having rewatched the Raimi movies, dude, when Tobey Maguire appeared and he looked older, like, I mean, my heart just like swelled. Like I was seeing an old friend. You know, like that feeling. It all of the way that they wanted that to come across and for us to experience it, I experienced all of it. And like they even, funnily enough, like make Andrew Garfield feel almost like the middle child.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect.
You know, and it's like, and that's kind of how I feel, where it's like, man, you just don't get the love that these other guys do, but I love you too. You know, and like it made me really happy to see him. And yeah, I got like teary-eyed seeing the three of them together. And because obviously of my personal experience where I've experienced those actors at different points in my life, but also the story itself, where it's like these three people have experienced this unique thing and they can only bond over it with one another.
Yeah.
Right. And so there were moments where they're like hugging each other and stuff. And I really felt exactly what the movie wanted me to feel.
It's very meta, isn't it?
It's meta, but like, you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I feel it to such a degree. But like, it just played so emotional and sweet for me. Like, I really loved seeing them together.
The scene when Andrew Garfield comes through the portal and he pulls off his mask. I got to see it in the press show and people were like, but I got to see it opening day, and the way people just erupted in applause, which made me very happy because, we know how emotional he is about this role.
Yeah.
And the big hug the audience has given him has been so gratifying. But in addition to that, he's so good in it. Yeah. He didn't skip a beat, and if anything, that little interregnum between the last time he played it now has added, layers to his portrayal.
Mm-hmm.
He's so funny.
Yeah,
like right away. When MJ throws the bread at him.
Yeah,
he's like, "Why are you throwing bread at me?"
Right.
And then as you said, when Tobey Maguire comes through, and we hear like the Danny Elfman music, and he does like the little wave thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's something that's, I just love that this is where we're at when it comes to these comic book universes where
Mhm.
you can do this.
Mhm.
Where you can do this, you know? So what this movie does retrospectively is it doesn't make the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It doesn't. You know, when they rebooted Spider-Man, Tom Holland, it basically said, "Oh, those movies were a mistake,"
Mhm. Mhm.
and now we get to say, "No, they weren't a mistake."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by extension, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, that movie, the 2002 movie, is kind of the first MCU movie, really,
Mm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you can be very cynical about it and be like, oh, well, this is just Sony finding a way to make their movies count more
Mhm.
so that they have more toys to play with.
Sure.
And you know, that's fine. But I don't care.
You know what? I would, even more than I don't care, I would say, yeah, but they succeeded in
Yeah.
telling a, even if like somehow cynicism was at the root of this even coming into existence, the people, the creatives who came in and tried to find a compelling and satisfying and emotional and heartfelt way to pull that off, they did.
Yeah.
Like the three, I was really struck by, I can imagine, I don't know who specifically, but in some other universe where you put three of the same people together, there might be one who's kind of a jerk.
Hmm.
And it's like, this person isn't on board and they have to win that person over, or you give them some sort of conflict like that. And I was really delighted by the fact that these guys, even though they're different actors, like Peter is a sweet character
Yeah.
and they're three nice guys and they love each other.
Huh.
Like there's something really uplifting and like just charming to watch of these three sweet guys meeting each other, thinking it's cool that they're meeting each other, and then like supporting one another because they can relate. And even
That's so well said. Yeah.
and even like the back cracking moment, which I know is a little meta, but like
Right.
it was just so cute, like watching one Peter Parker help another Peter Parker stiff back. Like
Well, related to that, I love it's either it precedes that or it's after that, where Toby is telling Andrew Garfield, "No, you're amazing.
yes,
Don't let it. No, you are amazing." And I love that. That's for Andrew Garfield. Toby is like the Spider-Man he looks up to.
yep.
So it's his hero telling him that.
Yep, and I think his character even says like, "Thanks, I needed that."
Yeah,
Like I needed to hear that.
Andrew Garfield, who for the past year and change has been, like at gunpoint, unable to talk about this movie.
Right.
He's had like a laser sight, Predator style, on his forehead, but he's finally able to talk about it. And he actually said that the one line he improvised is when his Spider-Man's like, "Hey, I love you guys."
Oh, really?
It's felt right in the moment, and like it's so perfect.
Yeah.
And their reactions are perfect, right? I was like, okay. I love where he's like, "You're an Avenger? Is that like a band?"
Right, because they don't know what the Avengers are. That was so funny. Yeah. Yeah, and then they also like geek out over the fact that Maguire can organically create that web, and they're like, "What the
All
hell?"
right.
Like that comes out of you. Like, that was so funny. Yeah.
But I mean, let's talk about the other villains that come back too. I thought Molina is fantastic. Willem Dafoe owns this movie.
Dude, yeah. I mean, again, I would have still enjoyed it not watching the Raimi movie so closely, but
Yeah.
like having them immediately in my mind, I was so emotionally satisfied watching Doc Ock like become sort of redeemed.
Yep.
Like it just made me so happy because he's such a tragic character. And I love that that's like the ethos of this movie is like, well, why are we going to send him back to be killed?
Yeah.
You know
Isn't
what I
that
mean?
great?
Like,
I totally agree.
what if we save
I
them?
love that. It's like, no, we help them. And all three Peters, like, it's what we do.
Yes.
We help people.
And see, I'd kind of forgotten because I hadn't seen 3 in a while, but like a big portion, the ending of 3 is about forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I was thinking about this because immediately it triggered in my mind Bad Boys 3. That was such a big thing for me, where the ending was about forgiveness. And it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
I love that because I think when you watch a movie, you go for like some level of escape. And when someone does something wrong to you, I want to see them thrown off a balcony, because
Right.
like that's the catharsis I get through movies sometimes. You know what I mean? But then when a movie goes, yeah, but what if we like made up? Like, what if I forgave this person? Then it makes me confront myself,
Hmm.
and
Wow.
right, and
Amazing.
go, why did I want to push that person off a balcony? Like, isn't in a weird way. Some movies you do, like in Predator. Speaking of Predator, like it's cool to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger thwart the Predator, right? But like, there's just so much more emotional roller coaster when you watch a character forgive another character, and you go, I think that's actually more satisfying for
Hmm.
me, and I didn't
Wow.
know that it would be.
Yeah.
And I love that this movie goes into that also, right? So first of all, that's just Tom Holland's Peter Parker's heart. Like that's the plot of this movie. Let's save these guys. Let's save
Yeah.
these bad guys. But then I love, sorry, skipping ahead just while I'm on this whole train. I love at the end then that Peter Parker gets to a point, the Tom Holland character gets to the point where he's like, F this, I'm killing Green Goblin.
Yeah.
But like, he hasn't had to go through that Uncle Ben experience. Like, this is that thug in the warehouse moment that he has not
Yeah.
had yet,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I love that the other Peters step forward because they've had it.
They've been there.
They've been there, they've gone through it, they've wrestled with it, and they know that like forgiveness is more powerful.
Hmm.
And I just, and you couldn't have that without those Peter Parkers get to give this Peter Parker that choice and that perspective. And I just found that so powerful.
Well, and in the vein of what you're saying, what about how they gave Garfield that redemption moment?
Yes.
For he failed to rescue Gwen, but he redeemed it in some way by rescuing MJ, and the way he plays that.
Oh man, I'm getting like choked up thinking about it.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I am is why this movie's so successful. Like it's not not just about the fun we can have with these characters.
Yeah.
It's like a true like character experience. And I loved it. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, going back to the villains, how awesome like, having them all in here. And then they kind of throw you for a loop when they throw in, sorry, dude, I feel like I'm talking a lot. I'm gonna get back.
No, please.
But the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, he immediately is like, F this, I don't want this darkness inside me.
Yeah.
And so like right off the bat, we're like, oh dude, this poor guy. But then of course, as things go along, the darkness overtakes, right? But like that was, I don't know. I just love that. And that's what I think helped Peter have that thing. Like, well, let's restore all of these people, And so that was kind of fun having them all in Happy's apartment,
Right.
But yeah, anyway, sorry, I want to hear more about your experience with this.
Well, the fact that you can draw on these villains, and I read an interview where Kevin Feige alluded to the fact that the reason they never revisited these villains, like the Raimi villains, in the MCU, is because they nailed it the first time. Like, how do you top that casting?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that this movie just leans into that. And says, yeah, that's the Doc Ock that you know.
Right.
That's the Green Goblin that you know. And what this movie does as far as Green Goblin is, first of all, it undoes one of the worst mistakes in the depiction of the earlier incarnation, is getting rid of that stupid mask.
Right.
Which I've never stopped hating, because I'm like, he's got a very expressive face. Why are you robbing us of that? And you throw Willem Dafoe on that glider with the hood. It's goddamn terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way they make him essential to the tragedy that this Peter has to endure. There is a question of like, well, what role did Uncle Ben have in this Peter's life? And I would offer, I mean, clearly he had an Uncle Ben. Clearly he lost his Uncle Ben. It's irrelevant as it pertains to this story, because he's given a fresh tragedy. Whether it's his first tragedy, I don't think really matters.
Right.
It's a fresh tragedy, and it really underscores the role that Aunt May played for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all the ways that the MCU version of Spider-Man has stepped this way instead of that, sort of to weave around what previous Spider-Man movies have done,
Mm-hmm.
that came to a head here, where we see the long game, even if that wasn't necessarily the long game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it matters more. Like the complaint had been, well, Spider-Man should be kind of down on like his luck guy who has to make his own suit and whatever, and so having him have like a Tony Stark super suit is less unique.
Sure.
And I would offer that, well, where we end up at the end of this movie, it's almost more poignant because all of that has been ripped away from him.
Yes.
And so he's acutely aware of not just emotional loss, but material loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to inform who he is,
Yeah.
I think by virtue of having Holland exist within the MCU, that's what lets you get Doctor Strange in here. And the beauty of it is that the shorthand already exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a ton of explaining that needs to be done for the audience. We already know who Doctor Strange is. We already know the deal.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about how easy it makes it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a complaint, and I would offer it's occasionally a valid one, that the MCU, the construct, is it handcuffs creativity. And it can, but then you have stuff like this, where you can have Peter Parker walk into Doctor Strange's house and be like, hey, I need a spell that makes everyone forget me. And the audience isn't like, what the hell's going on?
Sure. Wait, when you say handcuff creativity, what do you mean? Because so much can happen?
So yeah, because you're constantly having to pay off what's happened while setting up the next thing that's going to happen.
I see.
Right? And so that makes that can potentially make an individual thing feel less consequential.
Sure.
Right? And that complaint matters less when we're talking about something like the MCU, because you say, well, it's all going to pay off eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So even something like Thor: The Dark World, I think most people agree is, if not the worst, one of the worst. You say, yeah, but there's stuff in there, and you can just watch it and hang out with Thor.
I mean, and we've talked about this. This is like storytelling, movie, whatever you want to call it, of like an order we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Where this is a television show.
Yep.
Like, you do have to watch every movie, and like, I guess you could complain about it because you've never experienced it before, but like, it's new. You know what I mean? And it seems to be working for most of the world, and that's kind of cool in a way. I don't know. That doesn't bother me. Like, maybe because I'm a fan of the show, so to speak.
Yeah. And the truth of it is, look, we're 13 years into this thing now.
Yeah.
14 years actually. And so at this point, like, I don't accept that critique anymore, because I'm like, look, what you're getting with these. So either you're on board or you're not, you know? It's not a question of, oh, well, they're setting up stuff. We don't know we don't know whether it's going to pay off. I'm like, well, this is not Universal's Dark Universe, where you're setting up 8 movies that'll never get made.
Right.
Everything pays off. So I'm less concerned about that. But to me, my point is, all the road that's been paved before, it allows for something like this.
Yes.
It allows us to just drop in here, and the audience is already caught up to whatever extent they need to be caught up.
Right.
I mean, when you think about it, like, having J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson is like a perfect example, right? I mean, granted, this is a different Alex Jones style JJ.
Right.
But we already know, we know him.
Mm-hmm.
We know that guy as his character. We get it.
Yeah.
We don't need any explanation. I do love, by the way, it's very subtle in the film that when the movie starts, he's got this shitty fly-by-night operation in his garage.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And you see, he's gotten rich off of this Spider-Man stuff,
Yeah.
Which I found very funny. The texture of the story really, to me, drives home the effectiveness of whatever Kevin Feige's model is, and I give more credit to him than the Sony people necessarily, because we've seen Sony sort of fart around in the past with this,
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about, like, a handshake agreement or whatever they have between Sony and Disney. It's like, this is working for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to make sure you make this marriage work.
So what is the real world like thing going on now with this? I mean, is he done, Tom Holland, with Marvel? Is this still up in the air? Could they figure something out for another 3 movies? Is this?
I mean, look, his contract is done
Mm-hmm.
in that he had a 6-movie deal, and he's done his 6, right? Let's see, these 3 and then 3. Yeah, so he's done his 6, so he's done. So at this point, it's about renegotiating. Do I think Tom Holland is done? I absolutely 100% do not think he's done.
No, but I mean,
however,
the partnership between Sony and Marvel. I mean, is this? Are we now heading into Sony land?
Well, Kevin Feige has said we are working together on the next movie.
Okay.
That's what, and Kevin Feige, he specifically said, I want to say it now and I want to put it out there so that we avoid the panic that happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if that's him being like master planner, like putting it out there so that people get pissed if it doesn't happen. Kevin Feige doesn't strike me as that type of person, but I see no reason to believe that they're not going to continue working together because it's been so profitable.
It'd be insane.
Right?
Not to.
I mean, Disney takes like 30% of the gross. Like, they're not getting a ton off of the movie itself, but they get all the merch money. Like, Spider-Man, based on all the polls and everything, is the most popular superhero in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Spider-Man and then Batman. And anecdotally, find me a kid who doesn't like Spider-Man. Right? Look at all the T-shirts and and I'm not just talking about my kids because they're kind of mutants because they're mine, but I mean like other regular kids, right?
Well, look at the box office.
That's what I'm saying.
We've had 2 years of pandemic box office, which has just been so unpredictable, but also just severely muted.
Yes.
Right. But this was like, this could have been 2019. This money was like, people don't care. Like Spider-Man.
I got to go see it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you remember when Fox was making X-Men movies, Marvel stopped putting out X-Men merchandise,
right?
Just to spite Fox,
right?
And whereas with this, with the Sony Disney arrangement, the Spider-Man merchandising spigot is set to maximum,
right?
So it's in their interest to make sure that the movie franchise is performing because that helps everything. So do I think Tom Holland is done? Absolutely not. I think he can hold him up and get like Robert Downey money.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
And if he's smart, I mean, he should. Why on earth wouldn't he?
Right.
You know, I mean, when Downey was done after Iron Man 3, or rather, I think after the last Avengers movie, that was his first. Avengers: Age of Ultron was like his last movie on his contract. For everything he did next, I mean, they handed over like a small country for him.
Right.
He held him up for all kinds of money. So Holland has that ability right now because I think the audience is deeply attached to him. You know, so I see no reason why. And he's like 25 going on 14, right? I mean, right. So he could keep doing it. He says, I don't want to be playing Spider-Man past 30. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're Sony and Disney, you lock him in for like 4 more movies before he's 30 then.
Right.
You know, I definitely think we're going to see more of these. I mean, I guess we'll see if I have egg on my face a year from now. But I can't. Why on earth would they pee in the pool?
Yeah.
You got the magic ticket, son.
Well, I mean, certainly for Tom Holland. I mean, it'd be. I can't even fathom him not doing 3 more of these. But like, I guess I was just wondering how much they're going to tie into the Marvel side of things.
I mean, if you're Sony, you would at least want to have the benefit of that. I mean, why not?
I would think.
You know, and I would assume that the Disney people would love to throw him into another team-up movie or something.
Right, exactly, right.
I think that, you know, when there was that kind of breakup that happened, fall of 19 between Sony and Marvel, when they came back to the table and renegotiated, I think there was sort of either explicit or implicit in the new arrangement was that Sony will have more free reign to kind of do what they want.
Mm.
And I think the Marvel people just have to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what led to Morbius and sort of, I mean, if you remember the trailer for Morbius, that's got Michael Keaton in there.
Right.
But it also references Venom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and Venom is in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And that too, by the way, the post-credit scene with Venom leaving behind the alien goo.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is it's actually kind of a perfect way to do the alien costume story with Peter Parker, to have him meet Venom and not have them be enemies, because there's no reason for them to be enemies.
Mm.
Right? Like this Eddie Brock has no animosity towards Peter Parker.
Right.
He's nothing at all like the Topher Grace Eddie Brock.
Right.
So you say, well, how do we, I don't know what the intention is, but I feel fairly certain that the third Venom is going to involve Peter Parker in some way.
It's kind of interesting though, because isn't this Eddie Brock from a different universe?
Yes.
Like he leaves and returns to his universe, but the goo remains. So it's like now the symbiote is in Holland's universe.
Yeah.
Free to do whatever it wants, I guess. Whatever.
Exactly. So what does that mean? I mean, where does that story play out?
Yeah. I mean, there could be a different Eddie Brock in his universe. Right?
Yeah, sure. Right. Or we don't know. Like what we know in the MCU, there is no Oscorp.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's no Norman Osborn?
Right.
Right? Everything's kind of up in the air. I feel like that the mid-credit scene was setting up the third Venom movie. I don't think that's the next Spider-Man movie.
Right.
Like when we see Holland next, it'll be in the third Venom. That's my prediction.
Interesting.
We'll see,
Yeah.
And then, of course, Doctor Strange being in it. I've been a fan of that first Doctor Strange movie for a while, and it's been gratifying to see people sort of realize that it's actually really good.
I need to see it again. I liked it fine, but it didn't really stick with me.
Well, let's come back later this year and do a commentary, because we got the second movie coming out anyway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's kind of nuts when you think about it. Between the first and second movie, Doctor Strange has appeared like 5 times.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. He was in Thor Ragnarok, in the 2 Avengers movies, and then Spider-Man. Am I missing something? No. Okay. So he's had three appearances. I feel like I'm missing something. But regardless, no, the 2, 4 movies. Okay, that's right. So even though we're only on Doctor Strange 2, we feel like we've grown attached to that character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that perfectly sets up the sequel to really have a lot of people interested in it.
And if I'm to understand correctly, that movie was supposed to come out before this one, No Way Home.
It was, yeah.
And so they had to do some reshoots to switch motivations for Doctor Strange.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know how far... Like, was it at the development stage that they made the switch, or after the production phase?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that with confidence. I thought I had read that. In this movie, at least, he would have already experienced the multiverse of madness kind of stuff, and so he had different lines and whatnot, and they had to revise it. But I could be wrong.
See, that I did read that, but my question is, that feels like it would be a major thing to change in post.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to do like a major reshoot. And doesn't Wong even have different lines in the movie than he has in the trailer?
In the trailer, he says, "Don't use that spell." And in this, he's like, "Whatever."
He's like, "See ya." Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
The trailer for the new Doctor Strange, though, I mean, it's got me amped, but I mean, you have Sam Raimi involved. What I've heard is that it's very much a follow-on from this when you talk about sort of multiversal shenanigans in terms of other familiar faces who may appear.
Oh, okay. Oh, that could be like a blast.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, there's enough characters. We get Nicolas Cage as a Ghost Rider or something. They could do all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, and what I was alluding to way earlier in the episode is the appearance that nobody screamed at, but Federica was Daredevil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that was extremely exciting for me as a huge fan of that show, and I hope between Hawkeye and this movie both coming out the same week,
Mm,
it 100% cements that Netflix Daredevil show as part of the MCU,
yeah. Yeah.
which is nice. Not that it matters big picture, because whatever, it's good whether it
Yeah.
counts or not,
Yeah.
But I hope it's encouraging people to check it out because it's a
Mhm.
really good show. I know I've been on your case occasionally to
I
watch it,
know.
so I hope maybe there's a fire lit under you.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Well, let's go real quick. Aunt May.
Yes.
Aunt May has quite a scene in this movie. How'd you feel about that? I mean, she basically becomes the Uncle Ben role that the other Peters experienced, right? Where this
So
is the big
so
loss.
as soon as we keep cross cutting between Peter fighting Osborn and May running down the stairs, I was like, oh, she's gonna die.
Mm,
I had that thought. But first of all, I'm gratified because I feel like these movies have not given Marissa Tomei a ton to do,
mhm.
So if there is a critique, it's less about this movie than the other movies not cementing her more as a moral authority.
Sure.
Right, and that's not a huge complaint. But I thought that I had was, first of all, it's a very effective scene, even as you know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Holland acts the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about how it feels like the video game gave them license to kill off Aunt May, right? Because I feel like that's the first time they killed Aunt May in the comics back in the day, but they brought her back,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whereas
Wait,
the
how?
video game,
I'm just curious.
oh God, Brian,
Okay, never mind.
it was so goddamn stupid.
Enough said.
Yeah, I will say this: I was reading The Amazing Spider-Man back in the '90s when they killed off Aunt May, and it was beautiful and poignant. Tears were shed.
Right.
It's truly one of the most emotionally engrossing comic books I've ever read.
Right.
And then, like 4 years later, they're like, "Hey, so turns out Aunt May didn't die. That was an old lady who got plastic surgery to look like her, and Aunt May is here, and she's alive." The end. That's what they did.
Right.
It's infuriating, However, in the video game, right, Aunt May, I don't know if this is considered a spoiler. It's like a 5-year-old game now,
Right.
but she dies, and it's a very moving thing, and it feels very, very permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what opened the door to be like, hey, let's do that in the movie too.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe
you got
I'm
the
overthinking.
podcasting J. Jonah Jameson too, right?
Yeah, they got that from the game too. Good call. I didn't think about that. And I think it totally worked. I mean, it gave Favreau a nice moment too, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I almost then in that way wish that they had still been together at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it did, the moment itself kind of worked for me, but yeah, they didn't. Her saying that line almost felt kind of out of character for what she's been like in the past couple movies.
That was my feeling. Yes.
Like she's just kind of your funky aunt versus more of a paternal sort of figure. But that doesn't mean that I didn't, I was with it, but I don't know.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think the moment itself makes it worth it.
Agreed.
Now the spell at the end,
yes,
requires a lot of like mental mumbo jumbo to kind of when we say, "Oh, everybody forgets who Peter Parker is,"
yes,
and I've had this discussion like, "Well, what does that entail?"
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something that they'll probably clarify at some point, but I don't think it means every trace of Peter Parker's existence is wiped away. I think it's just like everyone forgets that they ever knew him.
Right.
I think that's what it is.
Right.
So
it's not like his driver's license ceases to exist, or
Yeah, it's like if you've got a picture with him, you'd be like, "Oh, who's that guy?"
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I guess just some guy. I guess
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, and I gotta say too, that end scene, you can imagine it one way, where it's like, oh man, that's really weird, or but like this in the superhero magical realm of things, like you almost get like some sort of music like do do do, like they don't realize, oh wow, this sucks, but this movie goes straight for the heart, like
Yeah.
the drama of it. Like this feels like an about time kind of moment, where it's like we're not trying to have fun here. Like this is sad, and I was really sad, watching all the experiences that Peter has had with these characters, all the things they've gone through, the love that he has for MJ, and then they let that scene play out, and like it really bummed me out, and I felt really bad for him, like what he now has lost.
Yeah.
And what and caring forward to Spider-Man, but like he's had these two buddies as a support system, for these films. And I thought that scene was so effective. Just as this sounds so dismissive, but I mean, some movies would just sort of play it as a thing that needs to happen to get to the more fun or the this or that, and some of the lesser superhero films.
Yeah.
But I just love that this was like played like straight drama.
Yeah.
And I thought all the actors did a great job. I thought the direction was great, and it left me with this really wistful, sad feeling, which is the way I think it should be. And so now he's got his homemade Spider-Man outfit. He's got no one, and he's going out there and doing what he believes in his heart he's supposed to do. Like it's, what an amazing ending.
I one thing I did want to mention is I feel 100% their plan was to kill off Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and they did a hard reversal of that.
Yeah. Explain. Why do you feel that?
I mean, just the way the moment is staged, I feel like at some point, even if it was not something that was,
I'm catching up to you because he gets stabbed.
And it's clearly, I mean, it's a horrifying. I was like, oh, you're not going to Han Solo this guy. Come on, what are you doing?
Right.
But I feel like that was 100% the plan, if not in the filming stage, definitely in the scripting stage. And thank goodness cooler heads prevailed, because you would have had a riot.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like they thought, okay, well, we'll let this guy give some sort of sacrifice, and then, but like, you know what? When we watch it, that's just not what we want.
That's not what we want. I think that's the delicate tightrope when you're doing these legacy things, because there is an implicit assumption that these characters are fair game,
right?
But it's not what people want.
Yeah.
And I've alluded enough times about what it felt like for me watching Han Solo get shish kebabbed. But last episode I talked about Mr. Big on the Sex and the City thing, and I was like, well, why would you do that if that's something? I mean, granted, all that other stuff now has come out of
kind of worked out well for them, yeah. But
that's a whole separate discussion. Yeah. But regardless, like we form these attachments, right? And I think the studios and the production companies would do well to honor those attachments.
Yes. Sure.
And if characters must be sacrificed, there should be an attempt to make it meaningful in a way that carries on and honors everything that's happened. So I think my point is, I think with the Tobey Spider-Man, they made the absolute right call, and I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
It also keeps that character in play for whatever they plan to do down the line.
Yeah, and if there's so much emphasis on all the other universes mattering as much, then it makes me incredibly sad thinking of that one not going back to his MJ. It's
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Very well said.
I'm happy that they kept him alive.
Yeah. So just a resounding applause all around then for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yep, I can't wait to watch it again.
I've seen it 3 times now.
Oh wow.
And I expect I'll get another viewing in at some point.
Yeah, I don't know theatrically. It'd be cool if I could, but I mean,
I'm going to wait for the current wave to crest and pass by, but hopefully I do get to see it in the theater again.
Yeah, I mean that, of course, and just other things that I really would love to see if I can. But like once this thing's streaming, like for sure, like I can't wait to watch this again.
Day one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that wraps up this discussion. Is there any point we did not cover that you wanted to make sure we discuss?
No. Well, we haven't talked about, I'll just bring up real quick, is Jamie Foxx.
Yes. Oh my God! Another redemption for a not particularly well-regarded performance in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Not so much the performance that puts too much of the onus on him. I think the characterization was not great,
Mhm.
and the fact that he got to be Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
For one thing, I think he was ecstatic about that. But I also love that he has the great little button with Andrew Garfield
Yeah.
where they just talk.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Hey, man, no, you always mattered."
Yeah. Yep.
I love that. I love that. When we talked about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 way back in the day, that was one of the scenes that we specifically discussed where Spider-Man encounters Max as Electro for the first time. And Electro's like, "You don't remember me?" And normally you'd be like, "Oh, see, he doesn't remember him, and that's how he was." But Spider-Man's like, "No, you're my eyes and ears. You're Max, right? I remember you."
Yeah.
And we were both like, we liked that,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that this ties in with that he still remembers him, he still cares about him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
And then we get the it would be nice if there was a black Spider-Man out there somewhere.
Yeah. And then also Thomas Hayden Church back in voice form for Sandman.
Yeah, so for Rhys Ifans and Thomas Hayden Church, they used footage from their movies.
Mm-hmm.
So from Spider-Man 3 and from The Amazing Spider-Man for like the brief moments where you see them in human form.
Mm-hmm.
And it I was watching the credits. I was waiting for Thomas Hayden Church to get a credit. I was like, I cannot stand for this Tom Church erasure.
Well, he did do the voice at least.
He did do the voice. So he got list like in the list, his name was there. But like in the individual credits, his name was not listed in that.
Oh,
that hurt my feelings, Brian.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I stand with you. I don't I don't know if that could have been COVID stuff or.
I'm sure that was a factor. I think the solution they arrived at was entirely workable. Where you say, well, that's just what the Sandman looks like now for whatever reason.
And him and Electro bonding over falling into things.
Yeah, he shouldn't be falling into stuff. Yeah,
that was funny. That was good.
This is a great movie, man.
Great movie.
Great way to wrap up the year.
Yep, agreed.
So thank you for getting better, Brian.
Yes. And thank you for your patience. To you and to the listeners. I'm so glad we could finally have this discussion.
Hopefully those of you who are waiting, and I want to say all the people who messaged me like, where's your Spider-Man episode? First of all, thank you for wanting to hear what we had to say about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully this measured up for you, I hope.
Yeah, same.
We will be back soon with our first commentary track for 2022.
Wow.
What is that commentary going to be? I don't know. You'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out together.
Yeah, exactly. We'll hit play on something.
Yeah.
See what happens. But as we wrap things up again, thank you for being with us in the new year. And I want to send some love to Tyler Kloster and Chris Ashline, two of our listeners who have been dealing with some health stuff. And we are rooting for you here and sending you nothing but good vibes. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us. And if anyone has any questions or comments, please message us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. If you're looking for me online, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my website, justadded.com. If you're looking for my writing, got a couple of new pieces up. My review of the Book of Boba Fett, which we have not talked about at all, Brian.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll come back next time and discuss what we think of that show. And I have a review of the new DC Comics TV series on the CW called Naomi. And, of course, my review of Scream. Just Scream 2022. Right. That's coming up soon. So lots of writing from me. Also, I had opportunity earlier this week to guest on the Bob Cesca Show podcast. We talked about politics. We talked about movies. It was a great conversation. And I have been a big fan of Bob Cesca since forever. So the fact that he asked me to chat with him was very exhilarating for me. And I think it made for a fun discussion. So please check that out. Brian, anything you wanna hype up?
As always, Puppy Dog Pals, Disney Plus, Disney Junior.
There we go. And with that, on behalf of my partner Brian, my name is Zachy Hassan. This has been Movie Film 238, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends. It's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zachy